how do I know if a technique of mine works? How do you control distance, timing, and are you able to apply whatever comes into your mind?
Yep.
Because many times you have information overload. Too many techniques in your head and you can't seem to execute any of them. You should ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, can I stop someone from hitting me?
Yep.
Right? Can I stop them? Am I able to stop my opponent? That's the first question. The second question, can he stop me?
Yes.
If you know the other person can't stop you, once you fully commit and you're all in, that person can't stop you, 50% of the fight is already won. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Wing Chun by Design podcast. Today is episode 23 and I'm joined again by my longtime student Stefan. Hi Stefan, how are you?
Hi SiFu. Hi everyone.
So today I'm really looking forward to this conversation because the other night before I was closing up the school, a student approached me and he had watched a previous episode and he asked me, how do I know if a technique of mine works? Right, along those lines. So I thought it was a really valid question and a great topic for us to discuss on the podcast. And so basically, how do you know if a technique works for you without you going all out, for example? Because that's where he was coming from with this question. He was saying, if we usually spar and in a controlled way, light sparring, and you don't test your technique with full strength, full power, going all out, how do you know if a technique works?
Yes.
And well, the answer that I gave him was there are 3 phases, in my opinion, when you practice and you learn any given technique. One is when you drill the technique as a fighting drill with a training partner.
Yes.
2, how you train your technique on the tire dummy.
Yes.
And 3, in sparring.
Right.
So let's say if you're sparring and you're not still there at a high level, let's just talk about, in general martial arts terms, call it a black belt.
Yep.
Okay, even though other schools or styles will have other ranking systems, but in general, when you say black belt, you kind of have an idea of what we're talking about with a high level student or someone who is quite proficient with their techniques. So let's say you're not there yet. And I always encourage our students to go light. When you're sparring in a light fashion, the main thing is safety. You want to take care of yourself and you want to take care of your training partner. Having said that, there are still many, many different elements that you are working on and perfecting.
Yes.
For example, how do you control distance, timing, and are you able to apply whatever comes into your mind?
Yep.
Because many times you have information overload. Too many techniques in your head and you can't seem to execute any of them. Because when you're sparring, even if it's light, things are happening very quickly. And you may think, I want to do this, but the moment is gone. The other person already moved on to a different combo. Or you got punched in the face.
Yep.
You got kicked in the gut. What do I do then? How do I recover from that? So one cannot discard, say, sparring light as something that's not beneficial for your training because it has its place.
Yep.
Once you've mastered all those elements that I just mentioned and say you're at that level of a black belt person, then you can go full contact because you have great control and you have all these elements where you know how to stop the other person from reaching you, from getting you.
So you're responding to what they're throwing at you in the way that you want to respond.
Yes, because what I said to the student was, number 1, you should ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, can I stop someone from hitting me? Right? Can I stop them? Am I able to stop my opponent? That's the first question. The second question, can he stop me?
Yes.
If you know the other person can't stop you, once you fully commit and you're all in, that person can't stop you, 50% of the fight is already won. But the most important one is, can you stop him?
Yeah, I've found that in the past, when I'm sparring someone, everyone has their go-to attacks, the things that they think their offense is based around. And if you start chipping away at those tools, they go from plan A to plan B to plan C, and you see them losing confidence because you're taking away their main weapons.
Yep.
And then it really impacts how the bout will go because their confidence diminishes. So that's a way to judge how you're doing in terms of your defense. If you
Exactly. Because if you have your go-to techniques, and let's say you have 5 of them,
Yeah.
and any time you pick one of those 5, you see that you're successful at applying it,
Yeah.
then that gives you the feedback, and you say to yourself, hey, anytime I try any of my 5 techniques, no one can stop me.
Yeah.
So that is what builds your confidence,
Yeah.
right? Now, can I stop the other person? No one goes from 0 to 100 like that. So there is a process in you learning how to stop your opponent.
Yeah.
One of them being, and you could say the most important one, is with your fighting drills.
Yeah.
At least that's how I teach, that's how I was taught, that's how we train. So when you're learning a technique, of course, you take your time, you go step by step, but then soon after, the person you're working with has to feed you those attacks randomly. Left side, right side, in front, moving back, breaking the rhythm. Everyone tends to train following a rhythm. 1, 2, 3. You go now. And 1, 2, 3. And then let me put my guard up and I'm looking good. Now you go again. That's okay when you're an absolute beginner.
Yeah.
But then you have to break the rhythm because there is no such thing as, wait, give me a moment, let me put my guard up, let me put my stance here and there, and then go for it. Or wait, I made a mistake. Hang on, can you do it again? That doesn't work in a fighting situation. So if you manage to stop your training partner anytime he or she is attacking and you do it with proper form and you're counterattacking, you're following up, you're intercepting, you're in charge, right? You're controlling the situation. That already gives you an understanding as to where you're at in terms of being able to stop someone from attacking you.
Yeah, I feel like when I train techniques, I want to feel some sort of pressure, like when I'm executing them. So then that sort of creates that sort of thing that you'll experience in a fight. Like it's not quite that, but you're under pressure. Like if the person's attacking randomly and fast, it's like doing a circle drill.
Yep.
You don't know what you turn and then you have to react and you have to execute as fast as you can. So even in my mind, when I'm doing things, I'm like trying to create that alertness. So then somehow that's getting into my system as opposed to being passive and kind of just going with, like in that rhythm.
And something as simple as, for everyone who's just listening to this podcast and not watching us on YouTube, I want you to imagine this. Let's say I'm standing in front of you and I'm just launching a jab.
Right.
And all you need to do is stop my jab. You can use any technique you want.
Yep.
I go 1, bang.
Yep.
I go 2, bang. All right, so then you find the timing and you get it right. So now we say, okay, for the next 3 minutes, we're going to work on one round where I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Just feed you a jab and you do your thing. All right, 1, bang, 1, 2, bang, 3, bang. And then I stop and I move around and I move around and I'm waiting and I'm switching and boom, and here I go again.
Yep.
And then again, and then I stop and then I move away from you. And then I go again, right? So breaking the rhythm like that, actually the same technique you were working on becomes a completely different beast.
And it's mentally exhausting.
It
you know,
is.
after you do 3 minutes of that,
You're tired.
you're tired.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not just physically tired, you're mentally tired.
Yeah, it drains you because you're always on high alert.
Yeah.
Is he coming now? Is he stopping? Is he moving? Or is it a fake? Over there, outside, let's say people in general, don't work against the fake enough, in my opinion. I see everyone, especially in the Wing Chun community, everyone fully commits to a known technique.
Yes.
You give me the Yachi Chung Choi, I do this. I saw recently, it popped up on my feed on social media, this really well-known Wing Chun SiFu from Hong Kong, and he is showing a kick defense.
Right.
Okay? And he's on a stage, he's obviously doing a demonstration in Hong Kong, and the student launches a high round kick, and he just goes forward with, you know, like a stomp kick or a push kick to the leg that the student is standing on, and, you know, drops him, like sweeps him with a front kick. And then everyone's like, wow, this is very impressive. And he does it again. And he also mentions this is the correct way. And he brings up Tony Leung, how he fractured his forearm while he was practicing for the Grandmaster film. Like, that's not Wing Chun, because in Wing Chun we do... Okay. Obviously, that person does not train against fakes. Let's just picture the same scenario. He's standing in front of me. I am meant to give him a round kick. He shoots nice and fast, straight through the center line to get the leg that I'm standing on. Does it work? Of course it works when you know what's coming.
Yep.
Let's say he's ready, I'm drilling it. I throw a round kick, he does a technique. And after, say, 3, 4, 5 kicks, I choose to fake.
Yep.
And as the round kick is coming and it's halfway, I retract, bang, and I go with a straight punch to the face. You're going to walk into the punch because you're fully committing to the unknown. So that's the main problem with you not training the way that I'm mentioning and the way I was taught, where you have to break the rhythm. You have to launch some fakes. And then that's just against one technique. Once you get to the level where you're able to do this, stopping multiple techniques randomly, knees, elbows, punches, kicks, attempt for a takedown, then you're at a good stage where you know you can stop someone.
Yeah. And it's a psychological thing, because those other Wing Chun people or whatever, they're looking at the best case scenario.
For them. Yeah, exactly.
So then if that scenario doesn't, how do you react, mentally recover your position? And that's why when you were saying about drilling, when you're doing it randomly and breaking the rhythm and stuff, you're constantly problem solving, because your techniques aren't always going to come off perfectly.
And you mentioned a word that's key, recover.
Yeah.
How do you recover when you stuff it up?
Yeah.
How do you recover when you fully committed to one side and the guy suddenly switched and came on the other? How do you recover? How good is your footwork?
Yeah.
Right? The footwork, the stances are everything. That's what's holding you up. That's what's supporting your technique.
Yeah.
Are you able to switch and shift and, jam and get away and raise and kick and punch and all those things? So these are all the elements that come together with what we're discussing today to see if your technique works.
Yeah, because it's never going to be a perfect scenario. It's never going to play out the way you expect. And that's why all this randomness...
When you say that, see, anytime I see someone practicing Wing Chun with a silk uniform, it just makes me wonder, how hard are you really training?
Yeah.
All right? Is there any pull and push, give and take, thrusting, pushing, grabbing, or something when you're wearing like a formal Chinese suit that is meant for you to go to a wedding, not to fight?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a side note. That's why we wear most of the time shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Now, the second phase, in my opinion, is working on the tie dummy, because then you can go all out. You can really push it in terms of power, in terms of endurance, because the tie is always there. It will not get tired on you. It will not get injured on you. And it's just ready for more.
Yeah.
That's the second phase. Third phase, sparring.
Yeah.
So that's when you start to put all these elements together.
Yeah.
Once you put these three elements into one, then that will give you a pretty good understanding if your technique works or not. Also, what I recommend when training, not always to train with the same person, because then you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And you need to push yourself, because we've all got strengths and weaknesses. You need to be able to adapt. And if I can stop your kick, can I stop the next person's? I don't know, right? I'm just saying. And that's how you start to, test your skills.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, what is there is a benefit to fighting within your capacity.
Right.
What is that? Like,
What's the benefit?
Yeah, when you're sparring,
Fear management.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fear management. But that's, call it, up to a certain point. When you're just learning.
Yeah.
When you're up and coming. When you're starting to grow your wings and you start to feel that everything is coming into place and it's looking, that is all that you're doing, because it's like throwing you in the deep end of the pool when you're not ready. Most of the times when someone's punching your face, fear kicks in.
Just say me, for example, or, someone that's a bit senior, like we're bigger and we're heavier and we're stronger or whatever. And there's a tempo that we have to fight. Like, just say we're fighting someone that's new or a little less experienced than us. We need to spar at a certain level. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be light, I'm going to be technical, but I'm holding back. So psychologically, I've got to find new goals to work on in terms of delivering power. Do you know what I'm trying to get at?
I don't fully endorse the holding back on skill.
Right.
Right? I do endorse holding back on power.
Right.
Okay? Because the student, let's say less experienced than you in this case, if that person is sparring you, I would expect you to still go fast and show that person what they can aspire to one day learn and become.
Yeah.
And give them a sense of reality.
Yes.
Like, I'm out of my league right here, because this person is wow. Like, and that is a good thing in my opinion. As long as you're holding back on power, you're not hurting them.
Right.
But if you say, now, once we've done the round, let me help you with this, and now we can drill it, and now we can, work on a sequence. Perfect. That to me is a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Because if, not just you, but if anyone who has a ton of experience and you tend to, I'll use a word, maybe it's not that appropriate, but like dumb it down, right? Like slow it down to a level where the other person almost feels like, hey, I can catch you. Like I got you there, or I can kick you and, you're not stopping it. Then that to me is counterproductive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they've got students that are roughly at their own level and they can, manage to play the game with that skill set. And then, if you're going with someone higher, they should feel
that you're controlling is somehow
right. You are in control, but they have to see that. Hang on, I can't do anything against this person, even if I tried to.
Yeah,
and that to me is a good thing.
Yeah, it lifts everyone.
Exactly, because that's what you want. You want to lift the other person's game, not drop yours.
Yeah.
Right? So that's pretty much it. So the 3 phases, if I go at it again, it's once you learn the technique, you drill it to a certain level where you can stop the person. Okay? Second, if you want to work on power, right? Explosiveness. You have to find yourself either a tie dummy or a punching bag, or even having someone hold pads for you.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big bonus. And then 3, sparring.
Yeah.
And you can go light sparring. I've said it in episodes in the past. I've sparred many people, and the higher level practitioners that I've seen all over, they all spar nice and light, because you don't need to go hard to see if something works. You don't need to go hard to see if I can control the pace. And that. And then, look, if you want to go full contact, go for it. But then both people have to be engaged and they know what's about to happen. You wear your protective equipment and go for it.
Well, if you're landing stuff light, you're going to land it when you throw it.
Exactly. I think it was this Sister Act, that comedy with Whoopi Goldberg.
Love
and
that.
the good movie, and the nun, the little chubby one. Someone asks, how do you know, like, if you've never been with someone and as a nun, and she says something like, well, I don't need to eat the donut or the jelly to know that it's sweet, right? Just use common sense. If I can connect the punch on you light, well, that means I can also connect it heavy. All right, so guys, everyone watching, listening, if you have any comments or questions, or you would like us to follow up on something, please let us know. You can write it down in the comments, and we'd be happy to answer any comments or questions you may have. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks, Stefan.
Thanks, SiFu.
And we'll see you on the next one. All right, bye-bye. Okay, guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button, share it with a friend. And guys, don't forget to check out some of my other videos. There's plenty of material there to keep you busy training and taking your Wing Chun to the next level. If you haven't already, check out my online academy. It's umauniversity.com.au. There's a free introductory applied Wing Chun course you can check out and learn from those videos as well. Having said that, I'll see you in the next one.